You can expect some future delays on US Highway 377 starting next week. I'll have more details for you later on in the show.
Over 100 UNT students took part in a silent protest today. We have more about the demonstration to come.
I mean, with politics so tight, there's the whole don't take my guns, but after you're in something like this, don't take my life.
And another high school shooting today in California. We have the details.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is NTTV Nightly News.
Thanks for joining us on NTTV Nightly News. I'm Lincoln Revel.
And I'm Victoria Lara. Tonight we begin with a developing story. One person is confirmed dead and 2 are in the hospital after a crash that happened this afternoon on East University Drive between Mayhill and Kiesling Roads.
A police spokeswoman said the crash was a multiple vehicle wreck. Eastbound lanes are currently closed, with westbound lanes being diverted to Kiesling Road toward Mingo Road. We will update you as the story develops.
This morning, a school shooting took place at a Los Angeles high school, leaving 3 students dead and 2 others wounded.
The suspect, who turned 16 today, is currently in custody while officials search for a motive. CNN's Camila Bernal has the story.
It's the sound that no student wants to hear.
It was like bang and then bang, bang, bang.
Just after 7:30 in the morning, local time, students at Saugus High School forced to run or hide.
We heard the 1 shot and then 4 after, and we just started running. And just all I heard was all these kids running and just screaming and calling their parents.
But some unable to escape.
Within 2 minutes, at 7:40, our first units arrived on scene and encountered in the quad area of the school multiple victims.
Officials confirming 2 students died after being treated. Others remained at the hospital. The shooter also among the injured.
Detectives have reviewed the video at the scene, which clearly show the subject in the quad withdraw a handgun from his backpack, shoot and wound 5 people, and then shoot himself in the head.
Authorities continuing their investigation and combing through social media in an attempt to figure out how and why.
We will run all the leads to ground, but at this point we have no indication of any motivation or ideology.
I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
Here on UNT campus, more than 100 students took concerns and demands to the Board of Regents meeting this afternoon. They filed into the boardroom wearing tape over their mouths and carrying signs. It all stems from an event last week called When Hate Comes to Campus. A university lawyer talking about freedom of speech used a racial slur, causing widespread backlash. She resigned the next day, and one student explained why this protest is so important.
Incidents like what happened at the panel happen. It basically shows us that there is a problem in our social climate and we do need to address it. There is in fact a race problem that needs to be addressed, and Black people are just not being taken care of adequately by our university and just not being taken seriously enough. So hopefully, this like us showing up and showing out shows UNT and the administration that we want to be taken seriously.
This afternoon, President Neil Simatris issued a statement saying, in part, this event is causing UNT to reflect on what we need to do. The events of last week suggest that we should take a breath and see what we can do better to promote equity and to improve our campus climate. He went on to promise that individual and group conversations will take place on campus with students, staff, and faculty to build a stronger and more inclusive campus. NTTV will follow this story as it develops.
You know, Victoria, it has been so cold lately, and I woke up today and I could actually feel my fingers.
I'm just hoping that today isn't the exception and that hopefully these warmer temps will stick around. Let's go over to Donald Britton for a peek at the forecast. Donald?
Thanks, Victoria and Lincoln. It has been a cool day today, not quite as cold as it has been, so you guys will still want to have those light jackets out. Earlier temperatures today were holding in the upper 30s, but right now we're at a temperature of 49 degrees with wind speeds of 13 miles per hour coming in from the north, making it feel more like 45. Now, as we move into those overnight hours, we are going to see lots of clear skies with a temperature of 29 degrees and wind speeds of 6 miles per hour coming in from the north. Now, tomorrow is looking pretty nice with a temperature of 57 degrees and wind speeds of 5 miles per hour coming in from the northeast. So tomorrow it'll be pretty sunny and light winds. And this weekend will actually bring about some nice outdoor weather, but I'll have more on that in the extended forecast later in the show. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Donald. You know, Victoria, everywhere I go in Denton, there always seems to be traffic unless it's in the middle of the night.
You know what? And our reporter, Nomi Sanchez, is actually at 377 where there's going to be major construction, which will probably cause even more traffic. Nomi, what can you tell us?
Thanks, Victoria and Lincoln. So I'm currently located on Fort Worth Drive, and as road innovations come to Denton, the frequency in closed roads rises too. According to the Texas Department of Transportation, a large portion of the US 377 road will be closed next week. From Monday to Thursday, all traffic will be shut down between Interstate 35 East and Country Club Road from 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. in order to bring down Railroad Bridge. According to staff reports, drivers will be redirected around US 377, but it is advised to avoid the area altogether. Victoria, back to you.
Thanks, Nomi. Just over 2 weeks after he was shot in the head and leg, a police officer, Urbano Rodriguez, is being moved from the hospital to a rehabilitation facility out of state. Rodriguez was transported by motorcade at about 10 a.m. Wednesday to the Denton Enterprise Airport. The department declined to say where the facility is located or comment on his condition. We'll update you as more information is released.
3 months have passed since the Walmart El Paso shootings that left 22 people dead. Today, the reopening took place. CNN's John Lawrence has the story.
A new era begins in El Paso.
We're here to support the community, and that's what we're here, what we plan to do.
Run, mija, run.
Just over 3 months after a gunman entered the Cielo Vista Walmart, killing 22 people and injuring others, the store is ready to welcome customers once again.
I feel it's important for us to open this store for our community. Our associates have worked real hard in trying to get this tragedy out of their mind.
A 30-foot tall memorial honoring the victims will soon be unveiled on the south side of the store's parking lot. It'll replace a makeshift memorial that's been a gathering place since August. Some residents don't like that it was moved and archived for future exhibits.
I think that it's somewhat unfortunate because that had a special meaning to it.
It was only 3 months ago. Just even from being in town for 24 hours, you can still just feel in the city that the community has not recovered from it yet.
And although the area is still recovering from the shock, Walmart hopes this reopening will help with the healing process.
Through this process of rebuilding and getting the store put back together, you can see the laughters, the smiles, the applause between each other.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
Coming up, scientists are worried there might be a resistance to antibiotics when trying to fight off germs.
And 50 Denton residents starting tomorrow might be without water. Stick around for more info coming up soon.
Got a quarter?
It started with the original care package, and millions more like it, passed from hand to hand across land and sea to help survivors in the aftermath of war. As we grew, we found better ways to help those in need, ways to make a real difference, not just today, but tomorrow as well. Be the difference in people's lives. Help deliver lasting change at care.org.
Alvin and the Chipmunks want to remind you, bacteria can hide in food and make you ill.
Wow.
But you can keep bacteria from ruining your day with 4 simple steps. Clean.
I'm waiting for the rinse cycle.
Separate. Cook.
Fire in the hole!
And chill.
We chipmunks are notoriously tidy.
Check your steps. The road trip to food safety starts at foodsafety.gov.
Every time you let go of balloons, they leave the troposphere, sail past the clouds, and enter the stratosphere where they eventually lose their helium. Then they come back down to Earth where they can disturb ecosystems by landing in ponds and lakes where cute little turtles and bubbly fish can then choke on the remains. But the trouble doesn't stop there. Balloons can also land in power lines where they can create surges that knock out electricity, meaning the apocalypse as we know it. No power, no Wi-Fi, no Twitter, no order. Just a world engulfed in chaos where fire is law and human beings are forced to communicate face to face. So don't let it happen. Don't let them go.
New medical concerns tonight that some diseases are becoming too strong with the drugs we have. More to be explained.
Superbugs are germs capable of learning and evolving, making them resistant to the antibiotics designed to kill them. Nearly 36,000 Americans die from superbug infections every year, which is about 1 every 15 minutes. That's according to a 2019 report from the CDC, warning some miracle drugs no longer perform miracles. The agency says there are 5 drug-resistant superbugs that pose an urgent threat to global health. Genetic researchers found some germs can share their DNA with other germs, effectively teaching them how to outwit complex antibiotics. The CDC says most deaths from drug-resistant infections are caused by germs typically found in hospitals. But the report notes while superbug infections from hospitals are down from the 2013 study, infections caught anywhere else in the community are on the rise. Experts point to the overprescribing of antibiotics as a factor behind growing drug resistance. And they say the only way to prevent the rise of antibiotic-resistant infections is if doctors, patients, and policymakers work together. For today's Health Minute, I'm Britt Conway.
Cigarette smoking in the U.S. is declining at a record-breaking rate. According to the report by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, smoking fell to 13.7% among adults. The report also found cigarette smokers are becoming more likely to quit in the past 12 months. But there is a new threat for health experts: vaping. E-cigarettes are the 3rd most used smoking product behind cigars and cigarettes.
With the first day of impeachment hearings against President Trump in the books, the big question is how will the American public react? UNT political science professor Dr. Matthew Eshba-Soha says it's going to depend on what kind of testimony comes out in the next 2 weeks.
The Democrats are hoping that there's something of a bombshell, some additional revelation that we had, like in Watergate, where it was in the public hearing where we learned that there was a recording in a system in the White House, right? So something like that could dramatically change the course of this inquiry. But so far, I think people have more or less decided. I mean, Democrats obviously are in favor of impeachment, Republicans oppose it. You have those who are undecided in the middle, and the hearings, depending on how they proceed, could move the public in one direction or the other. But at this point, we don't have enough public information to see much movement yet.
The hearings will continue into next week.
You know, Victoria, Thanksgiving is just around the corner.
And today's weather is the kind of weather that I want to have on Turkey Day. Let's check back in with Donald for a full look at the forecast. Donald?
That's right, Victoria. I do want to see some of this same weather on Thanksgiving. Pretty dark and cold out there at Apogee Stadium, and I promise you guys, I'm not talking about anyone's basement right now. But let's go ahead and take a look at our temperatures across North Texas. Right now, we have 51 in Graham, 51 in Decatur, 51 in Gainesville, and 49 here in Denton. So roughly the same temperatures across North Texas. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our temperatures across the state. We have 54 in El Paso, 49 in Amarillo, a nice 52 sitting in Abilene. Now let's see what our 7-day forecast has in store for us. Today we had a high of 56 and a low of 29. On tomorrow, we're expected to get a high of 57 and a low of 33. That good outdoor weather that I was talking to you guys about will come on Saturday as well, with a high of 61 and a low of 41. Now on Sunday, we are going to get some rain later on in the evening during that 4 o'clock hour, with a high of 63 and a low of 40. And we are going to get some relief of this cold weather coming on Monday, a great way to bring in that work week. On Tuesday, we're expected to get a high of 72 and a low of 48. Wednesday, we're going to get a high of 71 and a low of 55. So a great week ahead of us. That's all I have for the full weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Donald. A Confederate soldier statue raised in downtown Denton more than 100 years ago is still causing debate over what's to be done with it. While many Denton residents have expressed that they want the statue removed, the plan as of now is to put the statue and what it represents into perspective rather than removing it. Tuesday night's meeting was the second of a four-part listening tour across the county to gather suggestions on which words will give the statue proper context.
Local Denton families will be losing their water source starting tomorrow.
Michaela Goose is live at the Green Estates neighborhood with more on the story.
Thank you, Victoria and Lincoln. I'm currently outside of a neighborhood in an elementary school close to where yesterday Mayor Chris Watts declared a local state of disaster for the Green Tree Estates neighborhood. This was preemptive to the anticipated cessation of a private water service to the neighborhood on November 15th. We sat down and talked to Ryan Adams from the city of Denton about what the council plans to do for this neighborhood.
And this is going to allow the city of Denton to really mobilize a lot of resources to try to provide some temporary relief for those residents. That meeting on Tuesday, the 12th, the council directed staff to provide some water containment devices, water containment barrels and tanks for the residents. And with staff going by on a regular basis, once they're delivered, going by on a regular basis to fill them up. And these containers would be used for non-potable uses such as flushing your toilet or bathing or washing. And that's what the residents had requested of staff and council at the meeting. And so we are working to be responsive to that.
All right, and if you would like to stay updated on this matter, you can visit www.cityofdenton.com, or you can stick right with us here on NTTV. Thanks so much, and back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Michaela. And it's here, guys, the season that's all about giving. Starbucks is offering a BOGO today on all drinks.
And goodbye Cheerios. A new competitor is in the grocery aisle. We'll have the sweet details when we come back.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. Said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
What does it look like when a life is truly changed?
I feel a sense of accomplishment because I built a house. This house has brought us financial independence.
Every family dreams to have their own house. This house changed our lives.
Habitat for Humanity is at work in your community and around the world. Through shelter, we empower.
With the holidays just around the corner, how about a little extra cash? All for watching movies, and Christmas movies at that. If you love those warm and fuzzy holiday movies, you can apply for the Hallmark Movie Dream Job. Not too many qualifications, you just have to watch 24 Hallmark movies in the 12 days before Christmas. And then you have to document your feelings about those films, Now here's the great news. If you are chosen for this job, all that movie watching will earn you $1,000. Interested? Go to CenturyLinkQuote.com and apply, and good luck.
Now, while Lincoln is sitting at home watching all those great feel-good movies, because I know he's going to, he may get a little hungry. Alyssa Weems is in studio tonight with some suggestions for Lincoln when he gets those munchies. Alyssa, what's on the menu?
Well, Victoria, I have just a thing. First, let's start Thanksgiving dinner. Well, sort of. What if you can get Thanksgiving in a box and pick it all up from one of your favorite fast food restaurants, namely Hardee's? The company has announced it's testing seasonal meals on its menu. First up is Turkey Day. You can get stuffed breaded tenders, sweet potato waffle fries, toasted onion-coated green beans, and chicken gravy. All of that for only $7. But for now, you have to live in Jacksonville, Florida, so wait until next year. Now how about washing down your dinner tonight with a free cup of Starbucks? Maybe one of their Christmas drinks? Until 7 p.m. tonight, still about 45 minutes to go, you can get a buy one, get one free deal. Order a grande size and use Starbucks app. The offer includes regular and holiday specials like eggnog latte and peppermint mocha. And finally, the morning after those big holiday meals, how about a nice bowl of cereal? Okay, so it's not oatmeal, but it's Twinkies. That's right, those little golden colored sponge cakes filled with cream are about to hit the store shelves as cereal in a box. It will be available late December, as you might imagine, but can get your sugar fix from the cereal just like those Twinkies. So Lincoln, you can have your choice of a tasty treats while you watch those Christmas movies.
Thanks, Alyssa. And I just want you to know, I do not eat that much, okay? But as much as I would love to watch all those Christmas movies, I'm actually more excited to watch the Mavericks and the new Porzingis and Doncic duo.
You know what? Let's head over to Sarah Baskin to see how things are going for them so far. Sarah?
Thanks, guys. And I'm going to have to agree with Lincoln on Porzingis and Doncic. They've got a big game tonight, and I'll give you a preview right after this.
So there you are, shuffling through a stack of resumes and you come to mine. This is it, first impression, my way in. But can my resume show you how I truly stand out? Like that I was studying, going to night school while working 2 jobs just to help my parents pay for groceries. Or being the first one to always step up. No, that's something you just can't put on paper. Look beyond the resume and discover new ways to develop great talent that is dedicated, hardworking, and determined like me.
The Houston Astros are being investigated by the MLB after former Astros pitcher Mike Fiers claimed that in 2017 they used a center field camera feed and a monitor near the dugout to steal and relay signs. Since the allegations were reported this Tuesday, people involved in at least the past 3 World Series have been called into question regarding methods, including former Astros bullpen coach Craig Bjornson, who joined the Red Sox in 2018, the year they won the World Series. If the allegations are found to be true, the aftermath and punishment could be unprecedented in baseball. The Dallas Cowboys began a 2-game road stretch this Sunday against the Detroit Lions, and after a tough loss at home to the Minnesota Vikings, they need a win now more than ever. At 5-4, they are tied with the Philadelphia Eagles at the top of the NFC East, who play the New England Patriots this week. A trip to the playoffs will likely only happen if the Cowboys are able to win their division. The Cowboys may be in luck, though, since Lions starting quarterback Matthew Stafford may still be out this week after missing last week's game with a back injury. The Mavericks face the New York Knicks tonight on the road. This is the first time that former Knick Kristaps Porzingis will be returning to Madison Square Garden since being traded to the Mavericks last season. The Mavericks lost at home last Friday to the Knicks 106-102, but have a 4-1 record on the road so far this year. That's all for sports. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks so much, Sarah. And a puppy that looks like a unicorn and babies dressed up like Mr. Rogers. Jeremy Roth has the details in today's Take a Look at This. Thanks so much. I'm sorry, guys, for those technical difficulties, but thank you for watching NTTV Nightly News.
Join us again next week here on North Texas Television.